Rich, is the product manager job even worth it anymore? In this video, I'm going to go ahead and chop all that up for you. If you have not subscribed yet, pretty please with sugar on top, please help us do so. We have just started our brand new YouTube channel. We need all the help that we can go ahead and get. But most people right now, when they're reaching out to us, they're like, is the product manager job worth it anymore? And I'm like, I don't know what's not worth it about the product manager job. It's like, is there a job out there? What people really want to ask me is, what job out there in tech can I go out there and make a lot of money and do absolutely nothing? If we're just being honest, that's what people want. Like, I remembered when during a time in product management when I wasn't working this hard. Or I remember there was a time in product management where my friends who are product managers were like, you should be a product manager. Like, this is my life. I make about 200, 250, and this is all the work that I do. Those days are effectively over. And I'm going to tell you this. If you want to go ahead and actually get a product manager job that's going to pay well, here's what you need to do. You either need to be in one of the following industries: digital payments, healthcare, health tech, e-commerce, data privacy, cybersecurity, growth, AI, product strategy and road mapping. And a lot of this has to do with marketing, recently funded startups, because if you can get funding in this market, you can basically have such a rock solid business plan because it's so hard. It is almost, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it is definitely a lot more difficult to get funding right now than when I became my own startup founder back in 2017, 2018. Like, they're going to audit you down to the last freckle on your personal body. Like it's a whole genre of documentaries of just scam founders, right? Like, it's a whole genre right now for even movies and shows, like We Crash for WeWork, Theranos, Fire Festival. This shit scares, Sam Bankman-Fried, with the whole like crypto.com. That shit like scares. So even if this market didn't crash, that crap scares investors. They're going to audit the hell out of you. So if you can get funding, you're going to be good. Or like going into like a head of director of product management position. If you're following me up on LinkedIn, I'm posting up for roles almost every single day except for the weekends. And you can go ahead and see that there's all these different positions here. And my team did the data. It all comes down, and I'm telling you, it all comes down to, senior manager, product strategy. It always comes down to one of these sectors right here. So these are the roles that you need to go ahead and gun for. Now, if you don't have these skills, what do? You need to schedule a call with us immediately and start learning the AI skills required to getting these product manager jobs. And I'm telling you why. It's like, Rich, digital payments, fintech, that sounds great, man. Like, I would love to, people see one of our people here taking a product manager job at Venmo, and they're like, I would love to get into Venmo. Streaming right now is absolutely killing it. Like, I would love to get into streaming, right? But like, I don't have this background. You want to know what you do? You learn AI. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. People are assuming that they can't get the job because the delta between where the hell you are at right now and where the job is might as well be the distance of an Atlantic or a Pacific Ocean. What people constantly negate is that a lot of you guys are already getting interviews at these companies. So are you telling me like it's impossible for you to get a round 1 or round 2 at these companies? No. What ends up happening all the time, and this is why people do our program, is that at the very final round, so many people do this. At the very final round, they're like, I didn't have this experience, so I was just kind of interviewing for it like it was a bonus. It's literally the cherry on top of the sundae. And then at the very last minute, they said, oh yeah, this person has more experience than I do in the industry or in this domain with like subscriptions or with streaming. So why the hell did they interview you in the first place? They interviewed you in the first place because they saw potential in you solving this one problem. Because product management is more about your attitude more than anything else. But in order to justify why you are better hired than this other person, well, let's talk about why they went with that other person in the first place: onboarding time. The number one reason why companies hire one candidate over the other is they have to think about, I don't care if it's sales, I don't care if it's cybersecurity. You guys see I represent other channels right here and getting out their offers. I don't care if you're interviewing for a manager at a frozen yogurt shop, the thing that people always assess is whether or not, how long is it going to take you to go ahead and get onboarded? Because people are lazy assholes. They want to do no work. So it's like, yeah, I can see you being successful with us in 4 weeks, 4 months, but this person here is going to be successful with us. At least I believe they're going to be successful with us in 4 weeks. So who do you think they're going to go for? They're going to go for the other guy or girl. You want to know why? Because they want to go ahead and absolutely spend no time onboarding people. But the craziest thing here is you got to go out there and really sell that you're going to be able to take all of that work off of them. This is the thing. You see here, X Capital One, product manager. You want to know, you follow my feed? You want to know, like, I think, hang on. It's so funny. Like, I have so many people in my program interviewing with Capital One, but also have people in my program that was laid off by Capital One. What are we doing here, people? This is why I left recruiting. It's like, they always feel like something else is going to just solve. It's like, why don't you have a few more one-on-ones with the person that's already on the team that knows the business? You want to know why? Is because they feel like the amount of time it's going to take me to get this person to be as successful as I want them to be, might as well just hire somebody else new. It's always this perception of like, I'm always going to choose the route as a hiring manager. I'm always going to choose the path of least resistance. What's going to help me do the least amount of work? I know, you're probably getting ready to chuck this. I'm serious. Like, you see a bunch of like Spotify PM positions open. I also have a bunch of Spotify PMs that are in my program. I'm like, what the? That just came from there. And it's like for the same amount for the salaries too. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But that's what they're doing, right? You have to, like, what our program really teaches is how to sell. I mean, we do equip you with the AI skills too, but what we really do teach you is how to sell. Because, like, this, how people are making decisions about whether or not you deserve the job or whether or not you should get laid off or whether or not you're not going to get a raise is based upon such a high degree of absurdity. That's why I left recruiting, and this is why I'm just showing people this is just how the game works. I am just as pissed off about it as you are. That's why I left, because I couldn't, like, it was such a toxic work environment for me to be a tech recruiter, a recruiter in the tech industry. But this is just how they feel. So if you're out there wondering, like, shit, is this job even worth it anymore? Let me tell you something. What you really need to do is learn AI and learn how to play the game. Because if you're making 6 figures, you know a bunch of other people making 6 figures. Do you see any of your other friends that are like, what? Working at a VC is so chill. Working in private equity is so chill. Working in management consulting is so chill. Yeah, being a data scientist or like, I don't really do, like, no. There's no such thing. This is a tech recession right now. My channel is the only channel that talks about it in terms of people that is helping people actually get real jobs. We're the only ones talking about it. Every other product management boot camp out there is like, oh yeah, market's great. I'm not saying the market's good or bad. It's definitely different. It's shifted. You have to know how to play the game underneath the new set of rules. It's like all of a sudden you watch basketball and like, yeah, it's no longer 5-on-5 anymore. It's actually 1-on-11, right? I'm letting you guys know how the game is played. Don't try to do this thing on your own, because the number one determining factor about whether or not you're going to get this job is if you're a part of a community where you can constantly see success, because there's just so much work involved, and I don't downplay it. I work as hard as I do, so I don't have to go job hunting ever again in my life. There's so much work that's involved in getting this job, and it's really hard for you to keep grinding unless you're crazy like myself and not seeing positive reinforcement. You need to see other people that are getting jobs and getting interviews recently for you to believe that all of this grind is for something. You want to know what the hardest thing about running uphill is? Whether or not you're blindfolded. You know, one of the craziest questions that kids ask when they're in the backseat, are we there yet? How much farther? If you know you're going to be there in an hour, 3 hours, 4 hours, Why do you think they raw dog on the airplane where they're just looking at, like, one of the things that people look at the most when they're on the plane is like, how much more time do we land? Right now, it's just like, okay, if this is going to take at least another 4 months, at least you have a roadmap. This just seems like it's going on for an eternity, so every single day feels like punishment for you. And you're just not wired to be that unhappy because you can't fight against biology. So is the product manager job worth it? Yes, it's still very much worth it. But if you don't have a clear game plan on how you're going to navigate the shitty days, you're not going to make it through this. Everybody is like talking about, like, how do I go out there and get this job? You know, how to answer this question, how to do this, okay, nobody's talking about right now, how do I apply to jobs on the days I freaking don't want to apply to a job? How do I apply to jobs the day when I got 80 rejection emails as I'm rolling out of bed, just looking at my iPhone? How do I go out there and keep on going when I'm going to get rejected? Because you will. How do I go out there and actually fight back and turn that rejection into another interview opportunity when they say, oh, we're going with somebody with more experience? I can go out there and I'm telling you all of this, but doing it by yourself is such a lonely journey. And you're just like, does that really work? Does that really work? You need to see your fellow classmates getting success recently. And you need to see that shit in real time so it can reaffirm to you, yes, better days are coming. If she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. If that person's getting a $200,000 product manager job, I can get a $200,000 product manager job. If that person's getting a $300,000 product manager job, I can go out there and get a $300,000 product manager job. Job hunting sucks. There's nothing fun about it, and I won't freaking deny it. But we can make it suck less, and we can try to definitely make it more fun. It does not take away that job hunting is not fun, and it does suck, but we can make it suck less, and we can make it a little bit more fun. And you know what? That's kind of the difference that's going to get you in a better mood. So when you're interviewing, you're excited. Because the other reason why you're just getting rejected from this job is you're coming in with such a low amount of vibration. You're coming in with such a low aura. It's like hard for you to go in there and be like, oh yeah, why do I want to interview for Hulu? Like, you've been feeling like shit for 13 days straight. And then all of a sudden, you're supposed to go in there feeling pumped up. What are you, a psychopath? It's hard, you know? If there's anything we just learned from the Olympics, your mindset and your flow state and how you feel is going to really determine your successful performance. And you can't get there doing it by yourself. You got to be with the right people. Schedule the call. Don't wait any longer. We're increasing our rates. It's almost going to double because of our success. Come and talk to us. We'll work out a payment plan with you. Let's get you this job. And I've been saying this shit all month long. Let's make this the last time you ever have to grind for a job. I talk to so many product managers. You can hear I'm losing my voice. It's like, oh yeah, this was my worst layoff ever. Product managers keep on working until they get laid off. It's like they expect it. It's just this past round, it's been a while since anybody's gotten laid off, and this past layoff is the worst layoff that people have seen in a long time. So we had a long spurt of no layoffs, and we also have a long spurt of people staying out of the job on the layoff. You need to learn AI, and you need to get back on the job hunt with some positivity. Schedule the call ASAP.